Jason Scaggs, and I'm thankful for Brattleboro. I am grateful for everyone in this town that is trying to do whatever they can to make it a better place for all of us. This is a song by the Grateful Dead called Cassidy. I've seen where the wolf is slept by the silver stream. I can tell by the mark he left you were in his dream. Oh, child of countless trees. Oh, child of boundless seas. What you are and what you're meant to be. Species name, though you were born to me. Born to me, Cassidy. Lost now in his country miles in his Cadillac. I can tell by the way you smile, you was rolling back. Come watch the nighttime clean. Come go to scorched ground green. Blow the horn and tap the tambourine. Close the gap of the dark years in between. You and me, Cassidy. Quick beat, icy heart. Kept a cold drawn coffin cart. There he goes, and now here she starts here cry. Fly the seabirds, scattered like lost words. Wheel to the stone and fly. Fare thee well now, let the life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now, let the words be yours, I'm done with mine. Fare thee well now, let the life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now, let the words be yours, I'm done with mine. Fly the seabirds, scattered like lost words. Wheel to the stone and fly. Thank you.
Every year, for as long as I can remember, Brattleboro has had a community Thanksgiving meal. This has been going on for virtually decades. This isn't a new thing. Well, obviously, that's not going to happen this year. We don't get to stand or sit shoulder to shoulder and start the entry into the feel-good time of the year together. And from what I can see and what you can gather, this is really a year where we could honestly use it. So we offer you the next best thing. Greetings and gratitude from the folks you see the most, the folks that are in the trenches, folks like we're going to introduce here shortly. We gather virtually to, well, to tell you why we are grateful for Brattleboro. All right, welcome to Grateful for Brattleboro. And since we can't be shoulder to shoulder this year with everybody and we have to kind of keep that distance between everybody, we thought we'd bring everybody together on this Thanksgiving Day video. And we've got a bunch of people, as you can see. Some of these folks are all of these folks are representing people who have been feeding people for a very long time through the entire pandemic and even preceding that. And they will be around doing the same thing long after this thing is over. Let's get started with Ruby McAdoo, who is with Everyone Eats, and she's actually looks like she is physically on location in at the 80 Flat Street location where you hand out the meals for Everyone Eats. Tell us what's going on.
Well, actually, I do work with Everyone Eats, but I'm part of Putney Mutual Aid. And so I am at the Flat Street location where in just a few hours there'll be distributions. But I pick up a bulk of distributions every week and distribute them in Putney from the Putney Food Shelf, which is at the community center in Putney. And it's been amazing. And everyone's really grateful for the delicious meals, and Putney Mutual Aid volunteers are grateful for something to do to volunteer and feel like they're contributing. So we've been really impressed with how it's run and really just happy to be part of it.
Great. Now, Ruby, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing on Thanksgiving, maybe for yourself, for your family, for helping to your continued effort to feed the community and those in need.
Yeah. For ourselves, we're going to have a nice outdoor meal with one family who's in our bubble, and we're very excited about that to bring some semblance of normalcy. But we'll be enjoying, sorry for the noise, we'll be enjoying that. With Putney Mutual Aid, we're going to be doing distribution of Everyone Eats supported Thanksgiving meals on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We're also working alongside the Putney Food Shelf, who's doing harvest food bags. So in Putney, there's an option of if you want to make things yourself, you can get a food bag, or you can have these delicious pre-made meals through Everyone Eats. So that's what we're doing on Halloween, on Thanksgiving.
All right. That's okay. You can do it on Halloween too. It's all good. Ruby, so tell us, what are you grateful for this holiday season? Where are you grateful for Brattleboro? What are you grateful for?
I think that what I'm grateful for Brattleboro is actually, I was thinking about this. I'm grateful for the Brattleboro Museum and Arts Center. My kids are going to be contributing to and have contributed to the Lego exhibit. And there have just been a lot of fun family programming that they've been continuing to do in creative ways. And I'm just so grateful for them and their presence. And bringing that arts and culture to my kids has been great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ruby, for everything that you're doing here in Brattleboro and in the Putney community as well. It's just fantastic. We have a new caller on here, and could you introduce yourself?
I'm Jackie Reese.
Okay, Jackie, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Peter, and you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. And if we could, if you tell us a little bit about what it is you do with regards to feeding people this holiday season.
I help organize the delivery of the meals for Nicole's Community Kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so in that capacity, we were invited in to help with the Thanksgiving dinner that's going to be distributed, to apply what we've learned about getting meals delivered out to people and to this need for Thanksgiving.
Okay. So as this will be airing on Thanksgiving, can you tell us what you'll be doing on Thanksgiving? What you're personally, what are you going to be doing to help the community? What's going to go on in the life of Jackie Reese on Thanksgiving Day?
On Thanksgiving Day, I think I'm probably going to just have a Zoom call with my daughter and her family down in North Carolina, because I'm not going down there. So we'll just do that, and I'll check in with the rest of my family by phone and by Zoom. It's a Thursday, so my sisters and I Zoom every Thursday night. So that's what we'll be doing.
Awesome. All right, Jackie, tell us why you're grateful for Brattleboro.
Well, I moved to Brattleboro 20 years ago or so, out of New York. And the reason people ask me, why did you move to Brattleboro? And I'm like, well, New York, So I needed to get out of the stress and the impatience and the harshness. And Brattleboro was always a place where anybody could go into any store and meet people that they already knew, or people passing in the street say hello to you. Your storekeepers by name. I mean, basically it was the little town that I grew up in out in Queens. So for what I'm grateful to Brattleboro for is actually getting New York out of me. It was a 6-month period before I stopped tapping my foot when I was standing in line, waiting for my coffee because somebody in front of me was talking to the cashier. And my mantra was, this is why you moved here, so you could talk to your cashier. And that's what I'm grateful to Brattleboro for. It's opened my heart up. It's opened my mind up. It's given me space to breathe and to just be who I am. That's the other part of it. You can be who you are in Brattleboro.
True. As a kid from Queens, I echo that statement as well. Kira King, who is also a volunteer with Everyone Eats. Kira, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Good. Thank you for coming along. So tell us, Kira, what do you do for Everyone Eats?
So I have been distributing meals on a weekly basis since August. And right now I'm also coordinating desserts and pies for the community Thanksgiving.
All right, great. And what will you be doing on Thanksgiving Day personally and maybe for Everyone Eats or helping out the community?
So this will be my first Thanksgiving actually without my extended family ever in my life. And so I do have a small amount of family here locally. We'll be getting together and hopefully Zooming with everybody else. And my daughter and I are planning on delivering some Everyone Eats meals to some neighbors.
Awesome. And tell us what you're grateful about, why you're grateful for Brattleboro.
So, I'm really grateful to live here in Brattleboro. There are so many dedicated organizations and people engaged, and so many opportunities to volunteer and to give back and to contribute to being part of this community. And it's been a great way, especially during these past 9 months, to maintain connections through volunteering and to meet so many more new people like all of you here today in this meeting. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Stephanie, also Stephanie Bonin, she wears several different hats. One of them is kind of what would we call you, the program coordinator for Everyone Eats and the queen of Main Street? Would those be appropriate titles? No? All right. So obviously we know, tell us about Everyone Eats. Tell us how that hatched, how that started, where it came from. Oh, you're muted.
Everyone Eats came from the simplicity. Sorry. Everyone Eats came from what felt like not a very novel idea. We need to feed our community and we need to go to the people who know how to feed people, and that's restaurants.
Yep.
And the challenge was, how do you then fund that? And so the state of Vermont and also people like Sevka and people around the state said, we can figure this out. And so we did. And it's now federally funded through the CARES Act. And on our biggest day each week, we feed 1,050 people. And on our smallest day, we feed 800 people.
So it's doing a lot of good. It's just a great program. And again, just one more thing to do is, I know that there's just a little bit of a stigma. We could speak to that for a second, about people who think that they need to be on some sort of assistance. And that's not true, because this is more or less a program to help the restaurants. So by picking up a meal, you're helping the restaurants. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're correct in saying that it is equally supporting the restaurants just as much as it's supporting the community. And then also the third pillar of the program is to support the local producers and the local farmers. And so I think of it more as a holistic look at feeding people and touching on all different sectors that all need help. And so if we all reach out and help and we all receive, then we have this beautiful circle of giving that's going on, and that's the holiday spirit.
Yep, no, it's great. All right, Stephanie, so tell us what you are personally going to be doing on Thanksgiving and maybe what you're going to be doing for the community on Thanksgiving.
Personally, I'm going to be missing my sister and her family, and so it'll be the four of us. I'm sure my youngest daughter will add some stuffed animals to some empty seats to keep us company. And then in terms of the community, Everyone Eats will have fed 1,000 community members and will have involved over 100 different volunteers in order to have us all stand together during what's going to look like a very different holiday. It
will, for sure. Stephanie, last question. You know what it is. Why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
Oh, I am grateful to Brattleboro for the yes spirit. So I consciously surround myself with people who say yes. And all of the people on this phone call have all said yes, and I have said yes to them. And I really feed off of that and love that about our town.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Tony Duncan from Brattleboro Time Trade. Tony, tell us what you do to help feed this community during these times in need.
Well, I started actually with the pilot program for the Everyone Eats that Stephanie got me involved in. And then for the last 5 or 6 months, I've been working with Nicole's Kitchen, organizing deliveries of food. Really, really beautiful meals that Nicole Reisman has been making for people throughout the summer. And I've actually was very involved in the growing resilience. We've built a bunch of community gardens, and people have been taking food and getting fresh food. I've got a butternut squash from one of the gardens. It's still ripening.
Ah, awesome. All right, so tell us, Tony, what will you be doing, you personally, on this Thanksgiving, and also maybe for the community?
I think we're buying some turkey from the co-op. I don't need the Everyone Eats, so I'm happy to pay restaurants and markets for the food. And I'm vegetarian, so I'll be getting some sort of stuffing and making cranberry sauce and potatoes and parsnips or something like that with my wife.
Awesome. And your final question is, why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
I'm grateful that I teach at the circus school. That's one of the premier circus schools in the country that happens to be in this tiny town in Vermont that I just happened to move to. It's a wonder that we're open now and we're teaching. I'm just blown away by the volunteer and the attitude of people in Brattleboro. It's just so much energy to helping people with this crisis. It's been wonderful just meeting people and just seeing how efficient and concerned and active people have been. It's interesting with friends that I have on Facebook or other places, talking about sort of being where we can't do anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, most people I know are doing more now than they were before. And it's just this wonderful feeling of being able to help people and knowing that people in the community care has just been a very powerful, wonderful experience.
It is that. Thank you so much. Connor Floyd from Food Connects. Connor, welcome to Being Grateful for Brattleboro. Tell us what you do at Food Connects and how Food Connects is involved in all these people that are just feeding people.
Thanks, Fish. I am the Farm to School Program Manager at Food Connects, and I've been helping out with Everyone Eats, filling in, writing some press releases, doing some media, helping a little bit with the coordination, but I feel like my role has been small compared to all the other people on this call that have been doing a ton of the coordinating.
Right. Well, it's all important stuff. So it all gets us to the end goal, and that's what we're all about. So tell us, Connor, what are you going to be doing on Thanksgiving, personally, and what you'll be doing to help your community?
Yeah, I will. I'll be taking some time off and having a much smaller gathering, but sharing a Thanksgiving meal with my immediate family. Thanksgiving is my favorite meal of the year. I'm not a big turkey fan, but the stuffing, mashed potatoes, and gravy all decides. Yeah, looking forward to the meal and all the leftovers as well.
Awesome. All right. The final question. Why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
Yeah, I am grateful for all the opportunities to get outside, and especially all the trails around Brattleboro. I've been exploring a lot more this summer and fall, and from riding my bike at Living Memorial Park to the hill at Winston Prouty with the beautiful view over the entire valley and all of the retreat trails. We've just been kind of exploring all of those nooks and crannies, and there's a lot packed into this little community.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Christine, how are you? And welcome to our Grateful for Brattleboro little chat here. Tell us, you're from FoodWorks, which is a part of the Groundworks Collaborative. Tell us what you do at FoodWorks.
So I coordinate the FoodWorks program, which is the major food shelf in the Brattleboro area. And since COVID, we've been delivering food to a lot of folks and doing curbside pickup.
Great. And what will you be doing personally and also maybe, well, I guess professionally, safe to say for you, on Thanksgiving?
So FoodWorks will be doing a turkey distribution. By the time you see this, it will have already happened. Just giving people the option to, if they prefer to cook for themselves, and also helping out a little bit with the coordination of the Thanksgiving Everyone Eats meal. Great. Personally, I just bought a tofurkey and I'm going to eat that at my home. All right. I'm also taking a little bit of time off.
All right. Awesome. And tell us why you're grateful for Brattleboro.
I'm really grateful for Brattleboro's neighborliness and community. Whether you live in a house and it's your next door neighbor, or if you're living in a hotel and it's the person that lives right next to you in the room next door, everyone tries to find a sense of community and tries to help each other in whatever capacity that they can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Zach Hebert, he is from the Vermont Food Bank. Zach, tell us what you do there.
Sure. So I'm the community engagement and gleaning coordinator for the Vermont Food Bank's work down here in Brattleboro. And so I manage our gleaning program, but also do a lot of collaboration with other food pantries and all the wonderful folks on this call in the area.
Great. And tell us what you're going to be doing personally and maybe something you'll be doing to help the community out on Thanksgiving.
Sure. So for Thanksgiving Eve, I will be helping with the Everyone Eats Thanksgiving meal distribution happening the day before, where we're giving out 1,000 holiday meals. And we'll actually be using the gleaning vehicle for the food bank, which has refrigeration to pick up and bring those meals to the site. So I'll be driving around a lot of turkey and a lot of stuffing that afternoon before Thanksgiving. And then the day of, personally, my family is in Maine, but I won't be able to travel back for it. So my girlfriend and I will be at our apartment having a vegetarian Thanksgiving with the two of us, and do a Zoom call with our families later that afternoon.
Awesome. Well, guys, I thank you for taking the time out of your day. I thank you all for everything that you're pouring into this community to keep people fed, to make sure that they land on their feet, and for all the things you do. That's the thing that I'm grateful for. You're all part of Brattleboro, so that means I'm grateful for all of you. So thank you for joining on and being a part of this video.
And we're grateful to you also, Fish. You do an awful lot around town. You seem to have your fingers into every volunteer situation, every situation that's set up for helping people in need. And I really do appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm truly grateful for all of you and all the hard work that you do. You know, the undying gratitude that you pour back into this community just speaks volumes of the community in which we live in. So thank you.
Thanks for having us, Fish.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I am grateful for this guitar. I'm even more grateful for all the people who enjoy listening to it. The great days of November have begun, and I remember how it was when I was younger. It seems I was more hopeful as I rolled along the road. Seemed like the time was moving slower. All those days I passed the time by wondering with all my mind about the futures I might find around me. With all that time spent wondering about different futures that might come, would better have been spent by living in the present time. Present time, present time. Makes no sense to let it age like wine. Be here now might do you proud if you just listen to the sound of what your heart is telling you. Get up and do it now. We'll take a walk, do the dishes, mow the lawn, swim with the fishes. Tell somebody that you love them all along. Take a trip, go fly a kite, move on up to Boston if you like. Grab a pencil and a slate and write a song. Present time, present time. Makes no sense to let it age like wine. Be here now might do you proud if you just listen to the sounds of what your heart is telling you. Get up and do it now. I said take a walk, do the dishes, mow the lawn, swim with the fishes. Tell somebody that you love them all along. Take a trip, go fly a kite, move on up to Portland if you like. Grab a pencil and a slate and write a song. All those days I passed the time by wondering with all my mind about the futures I might find around me. But all that time spent wondering about different futures that might come would better have been spent by living in the present time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Continuing on with our Grateful for Brattleboro interviews, we're joined by a cast of characters from Project Feed the Thousands. This effort was started in 1994 with Larry Smith, then of WTSA Radio, and George Haynes, who joins us today, then of Brattleboro Savings and Loan. It's grown from a simple food drive to its own nonprofit that provides 250,000 meals and personal care items each and every year during their campaign. Everybody who's on here has something to do with that. So thank you for joining us here on Grateful for Brattleboro.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Kelly, let's start with you as the person who has become the chair of Project Feed. What are this year's goals for Project Feed the Thousand?
Yep. So this year's goals are $85,000 in cash and $250,000 in meals. That's our plan for the year.
All right. And the campaign has officially kicked off at this point?
It has officially kicked off. And actually, I can report only one piece that I know as of yesterday is as of yesterday, we had raised $20,000 in cash so far.
Oh,
so we still have a long ways to go because it goes till the end of December. So.
All right. Well, it's needed, and it's one of the well-branded campaigns of the year here in Brattleboro, and one of the reasons is by one of the original founders who joins us, George Haynes, and Rose also was a big part of that back in the day. So, George, as we're going through all this for 27 years, And you know, I remember years and years ago when you talked about retiring. So good for you for not doing it, because I think I think you feel the mission as important as everybody on this call. Tell us, kind of just give us some of the grassroots stuff of how it all started.
Yeah, well, speaking of retirement, when I retired years ago from Brattleboro Savings and Loan, I said I would retire from the bank, but never from Project Feed the Thousands. So because it's near and dear to my heart, but it started, as we said, 27 years ago. Larry and I got together. He had done some work with the Brattleboro Area Drop-In Center and said there was a need for feeding hungry people in Brattleboro, which I really wasn't aware of at the time, but quickly got up to speed. And we started off with some very modest goals. We named it Project Feed the Thousand in those days because 27 years ago, there was about only 1,000 people. And I say only 1,000, it seemed huge at the time, that were in need of food. Of course, that's mushroom today, where we're talking about, thousands. And so the name was changed. There's always a challenge every year. We think, well, if we do whatever we do for the goal, that will help us and sustain hunger in our area, but it doesn't stop. As Kelly mentioned, our goals this year are really challenging, mostly because of COVID-19. It's limited a lot of what we can do. So we're really glad to do this portion with you, because it's about a lot of what we're going to be doing is going to be virtual. And so this year, while food contributions are important, the cash contributions are even more important, because that way we can buy the food. If we can't gather the food, we can buy food to help supply hungry people all year long.
Great. Well, we're doing this in the middle of this whole presentation, which is airing on Thanksgiving Day, as a point to remind people that this campaign is ongoing. The need is everything looks different here in 2020. So Kelly, can you do us a favor for folks maybe watching at home or watching on their computer? How's the easiest way that they can donate? Can they go to the website?
They can go directly to the website, or they can go to a GoFundMe page. There's a GoFundMe page for Project Feed the Thousands. So if you just Google GoFundMe and type in Project Feed the Thousands, you'll see our logo, our picture, and that's probably the quickest, easiest place to go. But you can also, for sure, donate on our website as well, and that's projectfeedthethousands.org.
Great. All right, let's start with the things that we're grateful for. So Kelly, let's just start with you, since the tall trees catch all the breeze, right? So what will you be doing for Thanksgiving? We already know what you're doing to help the community, so thank you. But what will you personally be doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, with COVID-19, we're staying home and kind of in a little bit of a lockdown state. So, but I have 2 young children, so they'll be home with us. And so we're just being low key and doing an immediate family at home Thanksgiving dinner. Great. For us. Yep.
And why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
Well, probably as all of us would say, Brattleboro is pretty unique in the fact of when there's a need, I feel like this town is small, and if they're aware of it, they usually come to the plate and help, and it's pretty incredible. I think a lot of big cities don't get to experience that like we do, and we know, like when I look at a list of who donated, I mean, we're a small town. We know a lot of the people on that list, and so I'm just grateful for, being in a small town that everyone cares about each other and tries to help when they can.
Amazing. Yep, I agree. Joe, let's start working our way around the horn. Joe comes from the Townsend food shelf. Joe, what does Project Feed the Thousands mean for you in Townsend?
Project Feed the Thousands means an incredible influx of both food and cash to our food shelf. The high school that's in our town runs a Project Feed the Thousands food drive every year. Although that's going to be interesting this year because it's because of the virtual high school. But all that food comes to us and goes out between the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday, as well as we share in the money. We tag Feed the Thousands in a couple of sort of collections that we run to collect food again for the Thanksgiving and Christmas baskets that we provide. So it's a huge help for us.
Great. So Joe, what are you going to be doing for Thanksgiving?
It's going to be me and my wife at home. The kids are gone and doing their own thing, and everybody's kind of staying isolated and home. But and it's a huge change for our family. We usually all head to one house, and it's a 25, 30 extended family thing. Yeah. So we've actually started working on how we can plan to sit down at the same time, and we're going to have 10 minutes ahead of the Thanksgiving meal with Zoom with the entire collection of family, just to be thankful that we get to see each other a little bit and then do our own thing.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. I guess, well, since you're Townsend, I'll ask you why you're grateful for Townsend.
Oh, geez, I was ready to say why I'm grateful for Brattleboro.
Well, you can.
Well, I need to expand. I need to expand sort of Brattleboro and make it the whole Brattleboro area. I mean, we get support from Project Feed the Thousands. We get support from the Vermont Food Bank, which is Brattleboro for us. And then we get support from all of our surrounding towns, Townsend, Newfane, Jamaica. We see such an incredible outpouring of people who get it and understand and want to step up and help. We have, just because of the pandemic, we have seen people who want to do something step up and say, I want to just help a little bit. I see that people are hurting, and here's a check. I mean, we're not even asking for money as much as we usually do, and we continue to see increased donations and support because people at the core of it really just want to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Chris, let's talk about the Vermont Food Bank and what you guys are doing for Project Feed the Thousands, because I know you're a pretty big partner in all of this.
Yeah. We take in a lot of the food that comes through the door, and we're the ones that help distribute it to the thousands of people. So, our agencies can go online and they can order stuff offline, and all that product goes into inventory for them to order. I help keep track of the numbers that come in as far as money and food pounds that come in, and everybody reports that to me, and then we put it out onto our website so people can stay up on that.
Great. Chris, what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
Not a ton. I'm gonna be home with the family. I have 2 daughters in college, and they will be home. They're pretty much home anyways. They're doing most of their stuff on Zoom. So, yeah, that's about it. We're just kind of staying home this year.
All right. I think there's a lot of that going around. Chris, tell us why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
I'm grateful for Brattleboro because, to be able to just sit back and watch like all of these food pantries and people, especially during COVID, get together and do something in a different way, but be able to hand the food out to people in need, even at a higher pace, where it's being delivered to their homes and things like that. And to just watch everybody work together in Brattleboro has been really amazing to see.
Great. Thank you so much. Mitchell, you're up. There's a funny thing I've always noticed about Mitchell. Whenever, it doesn't matter if you're in a windstorm or snowstorm, Mitchell's hair is always impeccable.
I try.
All right. So take it from me. I'm envious. It's coming from an envious place. So Mitchell works for. He's one of the coordinators, but he works with the River Valley Credit Union as well. So Mitchell, tell us what you do for Project Feed.
So I'm in a little bit of a unique position with Project Feed. So I work for River Valley Credit Union, who historically handles a lot of the back end processing for the campaign. My current position within Project Feed the Thousand is the bookkeeper. So I handle all of our finances that come in and out and do all of the financial recording and reporting to our board and management, and the monthly and weekly reports that go out, so we have the most accurate numbers. So I personally get to see everything that comes in through our donations and our donors and our businesses, which is a very incredible thing to see what people are doing. And I'm very thankful that I'm involved in this project as heavily as I am.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, Mitchell, what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
That's an ever evolving topic right now. I believe my plan will be to go to my mother's house. I live alone, so the state of Vermont says I can go to one immediate family member's house, so I believe that's where I'll be going.
Choosing your mother is always a wise thing. So that's never. So tell us, Mitchell, why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
I'm grateful for Brattleboro for a ton of different reasons. It's a very unique town to live in where I can connect with people that I would have never connected with anywhere else. For example, in this, like I would never have been able to connect with all of these people if I wasn't on the Project Feed team. And it's just great to see everybody come together to accomplish one simple goal, which is to feed the people in our community that are in need. And I'm proud that we can do this, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Outstanding. Thank you. Carolyn Pichek from it's Bridget's Kitchen at St. Michael's. Tell us, what does Project Feed the Thousands mean for you?
Well, it means a great deal. It has gotten us through many winters with a Project Feed, with the food and the money. It comes at a great time. And this past year, probably in all the years we've been feeding people, it's been the hardest. And I have a suspicion that the upcoming winter might be the hardest of all. So it means a great deal. It means us getting through and being able to feed people and pass out pantry boxes and etc.
Great. So, Carolyn, tell us, what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
We are going to be just Joe and I home, hopefully eating turkey. We haven't decided yet, but my son is going to come the day before. We're going to meet on the deck and we're going to exchange pies, and he's going to get sausage stuffing, which he has to have, and that's it.
The party doesn't start unless the sausage stuffing comes out. That's what.
Yeah, that's how he feels. So he's coming down to get it, and he's bringing us a pie. So that's a good exchange, I think.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
Oh, jeepers. So many reasons. Like everyone said, every day something happens that just sort of makes you just feel like you're in a Hallmark movie. Like there's such good people, and you know that when you do a job like mine, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's the guests that just do something so sweet and thoughtful that you're just really. I think we're a great community. We really are, and I know Brattleboro area will come through this winter too. I really do. So.
Perfect. Thank you. Lisa Pitcher from Our Place, which is in Bellows Falls. She's the executive director up there. Lisa, tell us why are you grateful for something like Project Feed the Thousands?
As a lot of other people said, I'm just grateful for the community coming together to work really hard for a short period of time in order to collect enough food and money to help all the food shelves and meal sites in the area. And just also to highlight the work that's being done so that maybe more people understand why Carolyn needs to do her job at Bridget's Kitchen, or Joe and Kathy in Townsend, the people in Putney, why it's necessary for us to continue to do the work that's really important. So I'm thankful for Project Feed the Thousands to help spread the word and get community together to make it happen.
Awesome. And what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
It'll just be a quiet dinner here, just the three of us. But I really like Joe's idea because I have family in Pennsylvania and in Maine and grandkids. So maybe we'll Zoom before we all eat dinner.
Awesome.
Good idea.
And why are you grateful for Brattleboro and your own community, Bellows Falls?
Brattleboro is unique, and it doesn't always feel like it's a small community, but it doesn't always feel like a small community. I think there's a lot of energy in Brattleboro. All people from different walks of life coming together. I think as Carolyn said, even sometimes the gifts come from our clients, and sometimes they come from our partners, but I think people just really care about each other. So I'm thankful for that.
I would agree. James is also a Project Feed committee member. James, what do you do specifically for Project Feed the Thousands?
Yes, hi, good morning, Peter. Yes, I'm a volunteer. I've been helping Project Feed the Thousands for, it's going on 3 years now. I help support the website. I've helped with some of the food collection. I've been a part of this, like I said, for about 3 years.
Great. And what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
My wife and I will be having a smaller Thanksgiving, just ourselves, dogs and cats and chickens, and it'll be a quiet year.
All right. Well, chickens, at least the chickens got in on it. That's good. Tell us why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
I'm grateful for Brattleboro and all of Southern Vermont. I've had the pleasure to work with many of the nonprofits since I retired, and have devoted myself more to full-time volunteering. I'm very thankful for the unique people and organizations that all work together to support the communities. Project Feed the Thousands, obviously, Vermont Food Bank, United Way, and others. It's great to be a part of this small community, I'll call it.
Great, thank you. All right, so that leaves it to Rose and George. We know what you do for Project Feed. We know that while you're there, you're part of the catalyst and the main reason that we've got 9 people on this call today. So let's just jump to what you guys are going to be doing for Thanksgiving.
Well, it's just going to be us and my mom so that she won't be alone for the day. George and I have a huge blended family. We usually have 25, 30 people, but that obviously is not happening this year. So the Zoom idea we're going to hope to do, I'm hoping the system doesn't break, because I think there's going to be a whole lot of Zoom calls going on for Thanksgiving, but it will just be the 3 of us. Yeah.
All right. That's great. George, let's start with you. Why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
I'm grateful for Brattleboro for a lot of the reasons that everybody has already mentioned, but the one thing that's fascinating to me about Brattleboro, and in particular with Project Feed the Thousands, that Brattleboro is such a diverse community, and at times people of very different opinions may seem polarizing, but not with Project Feed the Thousands. I've never seen an event that we've held for 27 years where almost everybody in the community can participate. They do it willingly. They come together, whether they've got great means or little means, or sometimes they're contributors, or sometimes they're users of Project Feed. But it certainly is a community effort, and it's overwhelming, frankly, that such an event can bring so many people together.
It is. Rose, why are you grateful for Brattleboro?
All of what everybody has already said, of course. The community always rallies, always comes together, especially when there's a specific need. I'm very thankful that we were able to visit all the food shelves last year and get to know everyone and see what they do. Obviously, that's not something we could have done this year, so I'm very thankful that we did get that done last year. And I'm thankful to live in our own little corner of Vermont where we're relatively shielded against everything that's going on in the world.
Well, we take good care. So listen, I want to thank you. I want to go back and touch real quick on a few things that you folks have said that just means that I want to kind of put a bow on this whole thing. All the people that are on this specific part of this video today are either helping or have been helped. And this is the reason why we made this a segment within this program, Grateful for Brattleboro, because it's so important that we continue the good work that Kelly and George and all the other committee members have been doing for Project Feed the Thousands. So we encourage you to make a donation. No donation too small, no donation too big. Go to, Kelly, why don't you give us the website for Project Feed, so make sure that I don't get it wrong.
It's projectfeedthethousands.org.
Right. So please donate. To everybody on this call, thank you for all the great work you're doing. I am for my part, and grateful for Brattleboro. I'm grateful that this is still continuing. that this project didn't go. I know there's been times where it's been guessed, but Kelly picked up the mantle, and with the help of George and everybody else, has continued to reinvent it and to forge forward. So thank you for that. I'm grateful for all of you, and thanks for being on Grateful for Brattleboro.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy
Stay
Thanksgiving.
safe.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, my name's Steve Pro. I moved to the Brattleboro area about 20 years ago, and Brattleboro is a great community. Welcomed me with open arms. They've always supported my business and my music ventures, and I'm so appreciative. Thanks, Brattleboro.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. In the bad times I feel myself tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I feel myself out on the deep end, watching me diving. I never made the ground. Crash to the surface where they never find us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow, shallow. In the shallow, shallow. In the shallow, shallow. We're far from the shallow now. Yeah, the deep end watches the diving. They never made the ground. Crash to the surface when they never hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow, shallow. In the shallow, shallow. In the shallow, shallow. We're far from the shallow now.
Thank you for tuning in to Grateful for Brattleboro. It's been fun putting the video together, getting the musical acts that volunteered their time just to brighten up your day a little bit. And hopefully that's what we did. We got a lot of folks that we talked to throughout this whole entire video that were grateful for Brattleboro. When I thought about how I would want to end this video, I thought, well, I don't know that I've actually done an adequate enough job telling my story and letting you know why I am grateful. So here we are on Thanksgiving Day, which certainly is going to look a lot different for most of us. Most of us will painfully forego the normal holiday fare, the gathering of family and friends, the traveling to grandma's house, even the prospect of possibly hosting your first big family dinner. There's no two ways about it. We're not getting out of 2020 unscathed. It's been a difficult year, and it'll likely travel right into 2021. As I think about the year and what it's done to me and what it's done overall, I have to admit it's gotten on my last nerve. I would be lying if I said anything otherwise. Not being able to surround myself with the people I love during my most favorite holiday will be a reality that I grow from. Is it painful? Of course it is. Will it kill me? No, it won't. We all need to remember that tough times don't last. People do. When I think back to my beginnings in Queens, New York, I think about a few things that always make me smile that had to do with hanging out with my crew on Winchester Boulevard. But when I stop and really think about it, it's those huge family gatherings we always had. Those are the memories that take over. My mom was the youngest of 5 sisters, and I always remember them arriving one by one throughout the day in our little yellow post-war home. Usually, my Aunt Lucille and grandmother were the first to arrive, followed by my Aunt Jo, then my Aunt Nanette, and one of my aunts who was already living in Vermont, so we didn't get to see her as much as we would have liked to have. The kitchen would start to bustle as they all stood around cooking turkeys and big pans of ziti's and whatever else you throw out onto an Italian holiday table. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of calamari. I know it's a strange thing to bring up at this point in time, but I bring it up because it was one of those Thanksgivings when my Aunt Jo was frying them up and letting them cool and handing them to me, telling me they were baby onion rings to get me to eat them. It's since become one of my favorite foods of all time, but as I would eat them, all 4 sisters would laugh at me with more love than any one body should be allowed to absorb. I didn't care. I was eating and I was safe, and that's all that truly mattered. When we would finally sit around the table, the stories would start to fly around. My Aunt Jo brought a friend one year. Not really sure if it was a friend or who it was, but nonetheless, she brought him. And he pitched an idea that he was pitching to American Express, and all my uncles wished him well in a manner that would secretly, behind their eyes, say, only a fool would think that that would work. Well, the following year, he came back to Thanksgiving, and I was very pleased to see that he brought us a copy of his new board game, Money Card, which he had successfully pitched to American Express. Later in my life, my wife and I would host these gatherings, and they would look much different than the ones in Queens. They were filled with tons of friends and family. Sometimes 30, 35 people would pour into the house. It would get so hot in there, we'd have to open up all the windows and doors just to cool it off. My in-laws would take the drive in from Michigan to be a part of the festivities, and I always look forward to seeing them and hanging out with them. We continued that tradition right up until my mother-in-law passed a few years ago. She was a big football fan and would often sit on the couch right next to me and swear right along with me when somebody dropped the ball. I miss her. My dad always took his spot at the top of the table and carved the turkey while we all waited for him to get done. He still does that to this day. This year's going to look a lot different for a lot of us. Never in a million years did I think we would need to refer to the CDC website on how or if we could gather. But there's a lot in 2020 that hasn't made a lot of sense. And we all need just to simply power through it. I feel, not very good about what's been going on, but I know that we're going to get through it. Maya Angelou once said, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. I think those are words we can all live by. So from me to you, here's hoping that you can find the strength to get through it. Because we will, and when we do, we'll be stronger for it. So thank you for tuning in to Grateful for Brattleboro. I'm grateful for that, amongst all those other things. Reach back into those memory banks of those happier times. That'll get you through. It really will. Thinking about family, thinking about friends. It'll be a good day, and we will get through it. So I'm grateful for that. So happy Thanksgiving, and be well, everybody. And thanks for watching.